My principal was a very stern man. He was a West Indian from Barbados. And he always would say, I want an English subject. And we had to walk the line. I mean, there were certain things in school that we couldn't do, and we had to walk on one side, like you drive on one side of the road. We walked one side of the hall. You did not touch the wall with your hand and if you did, girlie, you would be punished. If you talked, you would be punished, and he could be right there, and you would know. And I was always a person that talked and laughed.
The academic burden was heavy for black students who, as the saying goes, had to be twice as good just to prove they were equal. Perhaps this is why the East End's 1930s era principal, Professor Best, chose to name his school after a black intellectual synonymous with the early battle for civil rights.
It wasn't called DuBois at the time. It was Wake Forest Colored School when I started. And then at the third grade, Mr. Best came, and he wanted to change the name of the school. And so he had the parents to come to PTA and give a name. So everybody gave different names. I had never heard of W.E.B. Du Bois. Nobody had. And everybody had sent in Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, and all those different names because that was who we had heard. And so he said, no, I have a name. And that's the name he gave us.
And it's the name they kept until integration came in 1970. And their school became Wake Forest Junior High. Geraldine Hall Taylor's children were among the first black students to make the move to the newly integrated high school.
I was president of the PTA at that time, and I reluctantly dreaded going because then, like I say, that's when I had learned the difference between black and white and how whites treat black, you know. And so I became, since I had always been with, I call white people before then, that it wasn't very hard for me to really get to be with them. And but it was like, say, some of our other members didn't like the idea. But and I told them, I said, well, they're people just like we're people. And you just have to learn to get along with them.